same job available in the blend jobs here. For the control, you can also decide which columns you want to see here. For that, you have to go to the graphics designer and then go to the properties of this control, and then you can change this to the I have changed it before so that it looks the same way as we have in the top view here. So that means I will minimize the standalone application because we have it directly on the HMI, so that we see everything here directly, so we do not have to switch between the runtime and the job view here. Right, so we have now the first job, and now we can start working on this job. And how do we do this? So we remember we have added in the topology, in the job control, we have added the transmission tags. So the PLC request tag, the PLC control tag, and the job control. So maybe you remember. And the most important thing to work on a new job or to load the job so that you receive all of the parameter values is the request tag. And you see at the moment we have the value 0 inside of this tag. And if we switch that one from 0 to 1, then we start loading the first job. So the next job, which is in the list of planned jobs, is then reloaded. You see in the status, it's transmitted, so that means we received all the information we have inside of this job from PM Control in WinCC. You see now we have a batch name generated with the job name and the current date, so date and month. And if we have a look at all of the WinCC tags at the left here, we can see we now have received the information for the job name, we have received the recipe name and the recipe version, we have received the batch name here, and we have received the set points of the parameters. So all of the parameter values we have configured inside of our recipe are now available here in the WinCC text. So you see the ingredient 1 has a value of 350, the ingredient 2 has 150, and the temperature is still 80. So if we now have a look at the job, so let me select that one, and if we display the batch data here, then you see we have the recipe value of 70 and 30, so that was what we have configured inside of the recipe in the recipe system. And then we see that the job value. So the job value is the scaled or calculated value of the recipe value depending on the quantity of this job. So I have selected a quantity of 500. So that means the recipe was built up for 100. So we now have to multiply all of these ingredients with 5 so that we get the amount of, or the quantity of 500 here. So that means we have a recipe value of 70 and a job value of 350, for example. And you see the same information we have available now in the WinCC text. That means we do not only have the information now available in the PM control, we have transmitted these informations during this transfer, or this while it's transmitted from the job here. We have transmitted this information from PM control to WinCC. So if I close that one again, we now have the parameter values available for WinCC, so that means we can give this information back to the PLC, for example, and can start working on it. So now we have only loaded this job, so we have the status transmitted because the loading is finished. And if we now go back to the PLC request tag again and change this value from 1 to 2, then you see the status of the order, or the status of the job has changed, and we now are in a status process. So that means we are now working, or we have given the feedback to PM control that we are now working on this order. So that means inside of your PLC or inside of your WinCC, you have created the things so that you can produce the product. So of course, in my project, I just simulated it that as a customer instituted and have real projects there, and now you start working on it. So the machines are running, you work and process the product here, and after some time, we're finished with that. And for that, we can give the feedback from the PLC or from WinCC to give some feedback to the PM control, so that PM control knows, okay, we've done working on this order. So for that, we go to the PLC request and change the value from 2 to 0 again. And then you see the job is from the list of current jobs is now in the list of processed jobs. So you see at the status it's ready, so that means it's finished. We're done working on this order, and that's it here for the order. So the order is finished, and we do not have to do anything else for this order. And now we can create a new order, for example, and can start working on the next order on this production unit. So this is the basic part to work with the orders. It's just request the next order so that PM control sends all of the parameter values to WinCC or to the PLC tech, so that we receive all of the information. Then we confirm that we have received everything by changing the request tag from 1 to 2. That means we're now working on it, and